Hi everyone, Simon here from Zubar Software. In this session, I'm going to run through a quick slide deck about desktop change projects and what are the typical problems and what are the possible solutions. So to begin with, SOE deployment projects don't happen very often. So the experiences that are had and the lessons learned are either forgotten or the people who do them leave the company. They only run every 5 to 7 years approximately, and that's not often enough for everyone to stay on board with the pain that they experienced. Additionally, SOE deployment projects can be daunting due to the number of questions that are raised. Often project teams are not even aware of the questions they need to ask at the beginning, and they find them out as they go, that's not the way you run a project. Finding out what you need to do when you're getting halfway through it. You need to know what your issues are going to be up front, and you need to manage the data in some way. Typically, there's no way to gather and store the information centrally for logical management, or at least there hasn't been in the past. So what happens is that projects fire up some spreadsheets because there are lists of things, and they subsequently find out that you can't really share them very well. You're not quite sure what the latest versions are, that you can't combine them for reports, and you'll end up spending a lot of money on business analysts and data miners, SQL intensive people, to try and get the reports, because you will get asked for reports regularly. You know, the management is always looking for a whole array of information about where the project is up to, and rightly so. You know, they cost a lot of money, and you want to be on top of the game. So what data do you need? Well, you're going to need to know who and where your users are. Unless you're running a zero-touch deployment project, which can happen and do work in very tightly controlled environments. Sooner or later, though, in 95% of projects, you're going to need to communicate with your users, whether it's for user acceptance testing or to determine whether or not someone's going to be somewhere on a particular day. So don't underestimate that. Hopefully your CMDB is quite up to date and it's integrated with your Active Directory so that you can get that information. Where are your computers? What are their specifications? Same as with the users. You're actually replacing computers. Everything around an SOE deployment project is computer-centric. You communicate with users, but you're doing everything to the computer. What are the specifications? Do you know whether or not you need to upgrade any? Are they going to run the new operating system? What applications are installed? This, of course, is the crucial aspect of all SOE deployment projects. Which ones need to be upgraded? Which ones will become obsolete? Which ones need to be reinstalled? I already mentioned that rollouts and hardware refreshes nearly always revolve around applications, because without applications, nothing can happen. You will stall. Additionally, are you replacing any hardware? Are you going to reuse some of the hardware that you do replace? They might be low spec, but not out of warranty, so there'll be a redeployment possibly that needs to be managed. Will you be supporting new hardware, docking stations, display adapters? What sites will you need to visit, if any? Not so difficult if you're a company that's got one building in one city or even a few buildings in one city, but if you're national or regional, then there's a good chance that you're going to have to travel to some of these sites. How are you going to organise that? Is there secure storage there? Is there a business representative who can help you? Always a great idea to get the business to supply some people with local knowledge or organisational knowledge. Are they easily accessible? Is travel going to be required? Do they require security passes or safety inductions? If so, who are the relevant contacts and what are the lead times? You want to make sure you get those done early, which means you need to be able to schedule and plan your rollout effectively. So what are the options? Well, there are 4 realistic options for gathering and storing data. You can use spreadsheets. You will probably get the job done in the end, but you'll go through a lot of pain. You're never quite sure who's got the latest version of a spreadsheet. Everyone thinks they've got the latest version, but there will be days when you tear your hair out if you go down the spreadsheet path. You could task your in-house IT department to write a system for you. Very challenging because they probably don't know the issues that you're going to come across either. You could outsource to a development house to do the same thing, but you're going to run into the same issues because they don't necessarily know what questions need asking, and on top of that, you're going to have to write a technical specifications document, and you involve a third party, so it's going to be expensive and time consuming. Or you could use a commercial product. Given that these projects don't happen too often, it can be challenging to find staff that have a solid grasp of all the issues. I've touched on that already. So what is NURVE? Well, NURVE is a strategic planning, management, reporting and execution tool designed for enterprise SOE deployment and hardware refresh projects. It gathers, sorts and presents data in a manner that allows you to make the best decisions for your project and integrates with both AD and SCCM to provide significant cost savings through systems automation. How does it get its data? Well, data is gathered in two ways. You can import via SCCM, or you can survey your users. Ideally, I would use a hybrid approach. Import the data earlier via SCCM and then survey your users. The surveys are highly customizable and can integrate with AD to pre-populate all the information. So it's a simple process for them. Doesn't take them very long, a couple of minutes only. So the import process works well when you have SCCM, you have a tightly controlled IT department, there are very few manually installed applications, your users, are quite self-sufficient with IT. You don't need to know where your users or computers are located. You have good automation of your operating system deployments, and you're not upgrading any hardware. Method 2, doing the survey. This approach works well when you don't have SCCM. Your users are quite autonomous with many local administrators and manually installed applications. You're planning a reasonably significant hardware upgrade program. You need to personally visit many sites. Your OSD is not fully automated, so light touch. Well, what does NURVE bring to the table? Well, significant application mapping and rationalisation on both the old side of the fence and also the new side. So everything that was on computers, audited applications, and matching those to applications that are going to be reinstalled into the environment. The DSL, those are the applications going back into the environment, and at the end of the project you will have a definitive software library because it's everything you installed. Site and business unit definition, so you you will ultimately know exactly where your users are well and truly before you need to go there. Deployment control, adding users to deployment groups or deployment collections, providing communications to them about when they're going to be deployed. You can give them build sheets that are in a scheduled and automated fashion in a lead up time of your choosing. Automated population of SCCM collections and AD groups. Traditionally, this has been a time-intensive task for IT staff to do on the night of rollout or sometime previous. It's been brought down to just a few clicks, really, and it can be self-managed. So those tasks can run on a schedule leading up. You might choose to do them, 24 hours before or 6 hours before, whatever the deployment schedule dates are, the tasks will run. Integration with SCCM task sequences. So as task sequences either complete successfully or fail, the status is written into NURVE, so you can report the next day and again schedule reporting emails to go out to project team or management teams with status of nightly rollouts. Automated project communications and reporting. Finally, we just have a quick look at the geospatial module. So this allows you to view dynamically any of your sites and the exact status that they're up to in terms of computers that have been deployed and ones that are yet to be deployed, users, applications required, which a certain percentage are in production and ready to be installed, business units and scheduled rollout dates. So hopefully this has given you a good idea of the kind of issues you're going to run into and potentially how NURVE can help. If you've got any other questions, please don't hesitate to get in contact. Thanks.